Hey guys, I want to welcome you to the weekly Wednesday for the Financial Freedom newsletter, where every week, every Wednesday, we delve into something inspirational, motivational, something excerpt taken from the Financial Freedom weekly newsletter. Wherever you are, if you're listening on Spotify, on iTunes, Google, be sure to click the like, subscribe, share, comment. And without ado, let's get into the show. Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu, and I'm really excited about today's guest, Gisell Paula, and she's the business operations partner creative founders have been waiting for. So I'm really excited about this discussion. We're going to be talking about getting a 10x your customer experience ROI 4-part framework. We're going to be talking about the customer journey, the client experience, something businesses need to be aware of today. And I'm happy to welcome her to the show. Gisell, welcome.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. Thanks for having me, Christopher.
Yeah, I know we had connected through Podmatch, and so tell people about your story and what you do, and we'll get started.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start with the what do I do question. So I'm a business operations partner. I like to think that I do away with stiff systems and build human-centric strategies with service-based businesses and also digital product teams looking to create purpose-aligned growth. And so basically like what that word jumble all means is that I use my superpowers of process and systems thinking to help small businesses grow while also doing more good in the world.
Interesting. So you talk about this 4-part framework to 10x your customer experience ROI. Tell people about that.
Yeah, so the cheat code is that creating great experiences is really a practice of empathy. So that's going to be the secret weapon that you're going to use with all of this. But the process I like to use is log your customers' experiences. So really look at it from their perspective, figure out where it is that you can enable and create changes in that process, and then map out the entire journey. And then the last part, the most fun part for me, particularly coming from a hospitality and service-based business. I spent almost 10 years working at some of the best restaurants and hotels in this country. My favorite part is inserting moments of delight. So you want to systematize it so that you can do it at scale and make sure that folks beyond you, if you're a solopreneur, you definitely want your practice to grow. And you want to make sure that you're not the bottleneck. So you want to enable folks to be able to deliver on that. And then once you have it systematized, you can think about ways that systemically you can delight customers. And that's kind of how I like to look at it, doing something special for them.
Yeah. And you also talk about standing out against the competition with the feel-good business, and why the feel-good business never goes out of business.
Yeah, it's definitely my jam. I love making people's day, but it's not just me. There's a lot of data to back this. Disney has like a 70 or 76, you'd have to check me on that one, customer return rate. And it's not because they're the only amusement park in the world. There are several, but Walt Disney World is able to really capture audiences and have about 7 out of 10 folks that visit the park once come back to the park. And the reason that they're able to do this is more than the magic of the characters, is they really do focus on the experience and creating that experience. I was fortunate enough, one of my first jobs in college, I did my internship at a Disney college program. And what was really cool is you kind of have these like 5,000 knuckleheaded kids from all over the world come to this one place. And within 1 week, we kind of do like Disney University boot camp. And they have us all kind of bought into this mission of empowerment that we can shift and really mold all, the thousands, the millions of different visitors that come to the park. We have the power to mold that experience for them. And they mean it when they say that. And, Zappos is another great example of like a, customer service first business that was able to scale. I think they got acquired by Amazon for $9 billion. But the reason why they were able to grow and the reason why Zappos is, for folks who aren't familiar, companies all over the world study Zappos and their company culture. And Zappos at its core is really a shoe company. But what Tony Hsieh, the founder of Zappos, really transformed it into more than a shoe company to really make it synonymous with delivering happiness.
It really outstanding companies. I know Disney's going through its issues this far, but I think Zappos was the first company that kind of defined, company culture and, culture and brand. These are intangible things, but they're actually allow you to stand out. And that's why, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, all these tech companies have been able to withstand all this disruption is because of what you're talking about. And what's interesting is you have this idea where the best competitive advantage creator entrepreneurs have looking to stand out is feel good, 5-star, and customer experience. Tell the audience about that.
Yeah, so large corporations like the ones we just mentioned, Zappos, Google, Apple, like these are large companies that are going to be hard to compete with at scale, right? It's the way it is. They're able to produce more, they have more money behind them, and because of economies of scale, they can do more of what they do for cheaper than we can as small business owners. So a lot of times, especially when I worked in marketing and branding, what I found was when you ask folks like, okay, what is your brand inspiration? They'll oftentimes look at Apple and say, well, this is who I want to be and this is what I want to do. And I think there's a missed opportunity there. I think there's lessons that we can certainly learn from every company, but trying to compete with the conglomerates is going to be much more challenging than doing what it is that you can do, which is making every interaction that customers have with you the best one that they could possibly have. And with that, you'll not only be able to retain those customers that you'll have and keep them coming back, but they're going to, talk about your business and they're going to share their experience with many folks who are then going to come to you. And the beautiful thing about using customer experience as a competitive advantage is that it's really free in many ways, right? It's kind of like, how do you quantify being kind? How do you quantify empathy? And those are really the tools that you need. And so you don't need the latest trends. You don't need the biggest technology. I think a lot of those things can be figured out if we start with how can we improve our customers' experience? How can we make sure that every touch point that we have with them is phenomenal? And then think about technology from that perspective. How can I leverage technology? How can I use tools? How can I use systems to help deliver on that consistent?
The other thing is what industries, especially in today, do you see needing awesome customer, like these legacy industries that you see taking your ideas and applying it are badly needed?
Yeah, I would say, because at my core, I'm a hippie who's looking to transform like the commerce world and make it, filled with businesses who are more responsible about their employees and their customers and the environment. So from that perspective, everyone. But in reality, from a business perspective, to lean into that, to lean into customer experience, it really isn't for every business. And I will tell you why. Not that everyone doesn't want to have a fantastic customer experience, but as a business, something you want to think about. One of my taglines for my business is make good choices. And that's because strategy is all about making decisions, right? So that means that every time that you choose to invest in something, you are, by proxy, whether you intentionally do it or not, you are choosing to divest in something else. So all of that to say, for large businesses, maybe like a Walmart, Walmart does a lot of great things, but I think it's pretty universally understood that customer service isn't their strong suit, and that's intentional, right? So If you're a Walmart and you're looking to leverage economies of scale, or you're trying to be, like a Jiffy Lube where you're in and out, and this is like your value that you're providing to your audience is like, I'm giving you consistency, I'm giving you reliability, and I'm giving it to you cheap. It might be expensive to, it might not make business sense to lean into that. However, for a lot of other businesses, particularly service-based businesses or saturated markets, like if we're talking about physicians, there's, many doctors, and how would one, kind of person know to choose one practice over another? Or a lot of the folks that I work with are service-based businesses. So if you're in any market that's really saturated, or if you're in a space where a lot of people don't know enough to be able to distinguish. So like, for example, an accountant is a good example. You're going based off of referral. And I'm doing that 100%. Why? Because I know nothing about taxes. So I don't know how to choose an accountant based off of technical aptitude. So I think for service-based businesses, absolutely. I think for products, the world is changing. And as this new generation comes forth, they've proven, Gen Z has proven that they have other priorities for who it is that they want to conduct business. So I think also any future thinking business that wants to think about longevity and being able to attract those new customers can definitely leverage customer experience. So everyone, if it fits, but also, it depends on your business model. And I know folks hate that, the it depends, but honestly, it really does, especially when it comes to like where to invest in your business and making strategic choices.
Yeah, it's interesting, and everything is when I think about these industry travel like airline, because they basically have a monopoly and they have regulations. It's really hard to come in and start your own airline, and they're always late, or they cancel flights, or they lose your baggage. They always find some way to screw up your travel. Like education, the stuff we're taught now is not very applicable for our current modern day situation. Healthcare, you're sitting in the doctor's office waiting, because the doctor, he's like behind, and all these, we need like, we need more like Apples and Googles and Facebook to come in and sort of stir up the pot and disrupt things. So
absolutely, I'd even go a little bit further than that. I love that point, but and I think all of us do have a little bit of Apple and Google in us. It's just, I think a lot of times folks get clouded by what it is that they see, what it is that they think that they should be doing. But a lot of us, if you've ever sat at a dinner table with folks and you've spoken about the times, I feel like we all have ideas of the ways that things can be improved. And as soon as we talk about that, we're leaning into innovation, right? How can things be different? And so I think, especially as small businesses, a lot of the times we get wrapped up on like what we should do, what we could do, what other folks are doing, that we miss out on a lot of the value and the worth that we bring. And, kind of this idea of what business is or what business shouldn't be, or what, founders should do or shouldn't do, I think really, really stifles a lot of us business owners.
Yeah. Really interesting discussion. The other, question I had is this idea with, especially in today's technological business society climate, and now with AI, how is your 4-part framework going to fit into these technological forces converging together?
I'm going to be one of the few, and don't come for me, y'all. Don't cancel me. I'm so excited. I am a tech phobe, or a tech enthusiast. Sorry, I'm a tech enthusiast, absolutely at heart. I think the more I learn about technology, the more I see the opportunities that technology affords small businesses specifically, who may not have like monetary foundation or investments that may be required, and could help us do. I really look at technology as a tool to help us do what we do better. So I don't see it competing, right? The good thing about being in the business of customer service is that it will be really hard for AI to get there. But you can use it to, expand your impact and expand the value that it is that you want to bring. But I absolutely see them living happily together. And I don't think that, we need to sacrifice one. I think the best iteration of the world that we can imagine includes all of these beautiful components.
Yeah, I love that. And I love this idea of coexisting. I've talked to other founders and they're like, AI is not going to replace us. We have to coexist with it. The people that learn how to use it and cohabitate are the ones that are going to thrive. And it's basically allow you to scale, do things cheaper, much faster, a lot of productivity.
I liken this AI revolution and the conversations that are, and this is going to be a little off topic, but I liken it a lot to, looking back at the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s and early 1900s, and just kind of like the same conversations we were having. But it's pretty hard, for better and for worse, it's pretty hard to replicate the essence of human. And we always will gravitate towards that human component. Even now, as we consume more AI content, we're beginning to see, it's now distinguishable, right? What does ChatGPT sound like? What does AI images look like? Like, I think our brains will become more accustomed to it and pick out and discern the nuances and still search for the human perspective.
Yeah, I love that. And it's quite interesting. And you also, you're right, you can't replace the human touch. And when somebody has a problem, they want to talk to a human because that way it's easier, and as opposed to talking to an AI or a robot. How can people contact you and follow you, check out your social media, see the work that you do, etc.?
You can find me on the Introverse at Get Scrategy, and you can find that on like the Pinterest and the Instagrams, Scrap Strategies if you're a LinkedIn user. And then I'm also, to help with these same ideas of, going on this crusade of creating better experiences, I'm developing some tools. So a tool that I have for free now is CX Map. So it's basically helping you build a workflow. And then there's going to be a mini course that I'm releasing later this month that will walk you step by step on how to do that. But if you want to get started with a customer journey map, I have a template that you can use today. And it literally works for any experience that you want to map out. You just go to GetScrap/CX Map.
And for all the audience out there, let's thank Gisell for coming out to the show and talking about the interesting, I haven't had a guest talk about the client journey, so it's great to have these ideas out there. And her resources will be in the links and show notes. And with that, thanks so much for coming out to the podcast.
So thank you so much, Christopher.
I hope you really enjoyed that wonderful, inspirational, motivational piece. Again, wherever you are listening, if you liked it, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We're on everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Audible. And without much ado, be sure to thank this show's sponsors, and we'll see you next week.